Oh, hi everybody. John Barrett, CEO of ZKR Orthopedics. And we are developing a procedure to treat patellofemoral osteoarthritis pain that millions of people suffer from and are hoping to avoid this. Nobody wants to get to the point where we're having complex surgery that looks like this. What we're specifically treating is a condition called chondromalacia, which is a way to describe patellofemoral degeneration. In younger patients, it turns into osteoarthritis when you get older. Generally, you're just in pain, your activities are limited, stair climbing, kneeling, sitting up and down becomes a chore, and it generally affects younger patients, people in their 30s and 40s, who in particular don't want to have complex surgery. So what they all do is everyone starts with endless pain management, as I call it, because people can be in this place for years. Doing whatever they can to try to get to comfort, and they don't necessarily get there. Current surgical options for complex surgery, of course, partial knee replacement, total knee replacement, everybody's familiar with this. This is something that if you're 30 to 40, you certainly don't want yet. That's kind of an end-stage treatment. Osteotomies are another approach that people use right now, and that's a way to cut bone, manipulate the patella tendon, offload the patella to reduce pain. The Fulkerson procedure is probably the best known of this treatment, and it can work. These patients will do better, be more mobile and pain-free, or less pain at least, most of the time, but it's just a difficult surgery. It takes a long time to recover, at least a week or a month of crutches and pain. And the surgeons don't like it either. It's a hard case. It's a really difficult case they prefer not to do. So what we're doing is we're developing a procedure with an implant-based procedure whereby an implant mimics the clinical effects of some of those osteotomy procedures. So we are realigning the patella and the patella tendon with implants that go underneath the patella tendon. And this is going to result in a procedure that's a very quick procedure, 20 to 30 minutes, all outpatient. Patients are up and about immediately, and for the most part, 2 to 3 days, completely fully weight-bearing. And back to therapy almost immediately. This is an animation of how this will work. Fairly straightforward procedure with an implant that's made of PEEK. We've got various shapes and sizes of this implant. You slip it in underneath the tendon. There's some landmarks in there to look for, but for the most part, it's sizing and getting a sense of that anatomy each time. But any surgeon's going to be able to manage this procedure. Again, multiple sizes and shapes. This is our first clinical patient we just did on November of 20. So it gives you some idea of what's happening. If you look on the left, pre-op lateral x-ray versus the one right next to it, you can see how the patella is lifted and space is created, and we kind of see the same effect with all of our patients so far. Folks involved, Jeff Halbrick is a sports medicine surgeon in San Francisco. Jeff had this concept a long time ago. He's a patellofemoral expert, has been the head of the Patellofemoral Society, so he filed IP a while ago to pursue this, and I met Jeff and we decided to get this company going. I've been the CEO of a couple different orthopedic companies. We only have a couple of key advisors who want to keep it simple now, but Jack Farr everybody knows Jack Farr in this business, in the world of knee therapy, and Beth Schubenstein's at HSS, up-and-comer. They've been super helpful on setting up trials. What you're supposed to see here is the bottom section. There's 15 to 20 million patients that suffer from, that at least are getting treatment for knee therapy. And maybe 5 million of those advance to that green box, which are people that simply aren't getting better, and they're just accepting it. They don't want to advance to complex surgery. And so I'm calling that market about 1 million patients that suffer from isolated patellofemoral disease who don't want to get surgery, who want a complex surgery, and are looking for a solution. So now our regulatory pathway, we've had some recent discussions with the FDA. De novo looks to be the approach that's going to work for us with some supporting clinical data. Relatively low clinical risk, easy reversible implant, and we're going to kind of concurrently pursue the CE mark with its clinical needs. Reimbursement, there's a lot of existing codes that we can fall under for patella realignment and lateral release. Obviously, we want to pursue additions to those codes, and we will set up some trials to pursue that and work with the societies to make that happen. I won't walk through all that. That's just sort of an example of some of the payouts that we could get. But it's certainly significant payouts out of the gate. So we started a trial in Poland. We were supposed to start it in April of 2020. Of course, it didn't happen. So we finally kicked it off in November. Early feasibility trial, 15 patients, primarily looking at freedom from device-related complications. And secondarily, we're collecting data on pain and mobility. So we want to demonstrate that the implant is actually working as we hope. But mostly we want to verify safety and implant design, patient selection, the usual feasibility trials. This is Konrad Slinarski in Poland and his group, and he did a great job of getting this thing off the ground and getting the right approvals from the hospital to make it happen. So our first 12 patients are finished. I think the thing to note is we have a range of patients, 21 to 61. The average age is about 42, and that's what we expect here. This is an implant for 30-something, 40-something, 50-something, generally athletic, and they're just in pain, and they want to move on with their lives. And male, female, doesn't seem to matter. We're following all these patients with extensive imaging protocols, so we're gonna catch anything that's going on. So far, we've had no complications whatsoever. The patients are doing great. No reoperations, nothing that pops up on imaging that would cause any worry. So patients feel great, and they've been up and about within days, all of them. And enrollment has not been an issue. We could have enrolled 50 patients. People were walking into the clinic to sign up for this procedure without any real advertising. Just quickly looking at a couple of these folks. This guy's a 42-year-old, 2 weeks, walking normally. This is after surgery, and he's got an implant, and there's really no effects whatsoever. The guy's an athlete, looking forward to getting back to work and his running and even rugby playing. Very young patient, 21, but this is 3 days post-op, and she's going to get rid of those crutches tomorrow. Another young patient, she's a physical therapist. She was back to work within weeks, and this is 2 months post-op. She's fine. Our first patient is great. This guy's doing deep knee bends. He's 42. He's been skiing. He's been running. He's back to his normal activities. We are going to finish this trial, go to the FDA, pursue our pivotal. We've already talked to them about it. Trial's going to look like 70 to 80 patients or so. We haven't figured out the design yet, exactly what we're going to do, but we've got some options there. IP, we just received recent IP this year, 2 new patents. I won't talk about that, but just in summary, this is a big market. We know the patients are there. We absolutely know they're there. They have no other solutions. We're going to do this in a very capital-efficient way. We've got IP, and we've got a very experienced management team and advisors that can navigate the waters of the orthopedic space. Thank you very much.